The Yankees are back to losing again. Hello and welcome to the Yankees on Deck podcast. I'm your host, Matt Cunningham, and the Yankees lose again in the first game of this series to the Cincinnati Reds, who are a terrible baseball team. They lose this one at home 5-4. They were down 5-0 in the fifth inning. And then the Yankees, heading into the sixth, started to make a little bit of a late rally, but it was too late. And the Yankees dropped this one. Just really embarrassing game, honestly, for the most part, up until like that sixth, seventh inning when the offense finally started to pick it up. But again, it's the same song, same trend, where the 4 through 9 hitters in this lineup, outside of Ben Rice, have continued to do nothing. And let me read the names. Alex Verdugo batting cleanup. He continues to be in a massive slump. He was 0 for 3 today. Did have a walk. Gleyber Torres was actually 1 for 4 and had an RBI hit late in the game. But again, had a strikeout on a 3-2 count. He, for the most part, these last several weeks, has been useless. Ben Rice was 1 for 4 today. Had a 2-run double back in the sixth inning when the Yankees scored 3 runs. And look, this kid's been great. I mean, he had a multi-hit game last game in Toronto. He's taken his walks. I mean, he's really been the only guy in this 4 through 9 contributing. The next guy after him, DJ LeMahieu, 0 for 4. DJ, his typical thing is rolling over on balls, grounding out to the shortstop or third baseman. Yep. And then Trent Grisham was 1 for 4. Had a strikeout, and then Jose Trevino was 0 for 3, had a strikeout. So, yeah, I mean, it's awful. It's awful. And Anthony Volpe, let's be fair here, batting leadoff, he's in a massive slump. He was 0 for 5 today. Batting average now down to 257. People are starting to say, oh, all right, take him out of leadoff, But my question to those people is, who are you going to bat leadoff? There's really no candidate right now. Are you going to put Soto lead off? I mean, Soto looks fine hitting in the 2 spot, and he's looked fine there all year. Are you really going to mix that up? Because Judge is getting better pitches to hit. So do you really want to mess up the one good part of our order potentially and move Soto lead off? I wouldn't do that. And then people are saying Verdugo. Well, Verdugo's in a massive slump. Is putting him lead off really going to change things? I don't know. But it's not like you could say, oh, yeah, Verdugo's starting to pick it up. All right, put Verdugo in lead off. So you can't put him in lead off. Gleyber Torres, we tried him in leadoff at the beginning of the year, and last year, look how that worked out. That didn't work out. DJ LeMahieu can't hit leadoff. The guy's hitting 180. So all you people saying take Anthony Volpe out of the leadoff spot, who are you putting in there? It's probably just a bad slump. I mean, Anthony, for the most part, aside from this slump, he's for the most part he's been great offensively this year. His last 15 games, he's hitting 194. Last 30 games, he's hitting 206. So he's basically been in a month-long slump. But outside of that, he has shown bigger bright spots this year with the bat. But he is in a pretty dreadful slump right now. But my question to you all is, well, who is going to fulfill that spot? And really, there's nobody. I mean, unless you move Judge or Soto there, but do you really want to mess with those guys? I mean, those guys are fine right where they are right now. They're producing. They're doing the job. Aaron Judge had his 32nd home run tonight. He's making a case for the Triple Crown. I mean, at the end of the day, like, what are you going to do there? It's so, honestly, my advice right now, I guess just stick it out a little longer. Let's see if he can turn it around. But it's not just Volpe. It's a ton of guys. Outside of Soto, Judge, and Ben Rice, this entire lineup has done practically nothing the last 2-3 weeks at least. So I don't know. I don't know. Leadoff is one of the many problems right now this team is dealing with. Luis Hill had his 3rd bad start in a row. He went 4 innings today, gave up 4 runs on 2 hits. Will Benson hit a home run. Ellie De La Cruz hit a home run. Had only 3 strikeouts, and then he had trouble finding the plate. He had 3 walks. At the end of the day, look, here's what I'm going to say. Luis Hill, he's coming off of Tommy John. So, and the Yankees, you pull up his stats here, he's already thrown 89 and 2/3 innings. And this guy didn't pitch at all last year because he was recovering from the Tommy John. The last time he pitched was 2022. He threw only 4 innings. So clearly, fatigue and workload issues are in play here because when he came back this year, he was great. And now we're getting into the dog days of summer. We're in July. And this is where, the heat picks up and guys start to get a little tired in general. I mean, it's 162. It's a long-ass season. And this is for a guy who didn't pitch at all last year. And the last time he was on the mound was 2 years ago, and he threw only 4 innings. And then you got to go back to 2021, where he threw less than 30 innings, 29 and a third. So you're looking at all of this, and people are saying, oh, Luis Hill, he's done, he's cooked. No, the guy is just tired. I mean, at the end of the day, the Yankees have issues in the pitching department, in the bullpen, and they brought this guy in when Cole went down. Luis Hill replaced Cole. He was their ace for well over a month to start the year. March, April, May, June, several months. And he was that stopgap. He filled what we were lacking from losing Garrett Cole. And that was a lot of innings. That was, you're 90 innings, you're approaching 100 innings there. I mean, and we're not even at the All-Star break yet. Pump the brakes. At the end of the day, I know Yankee management came out, Matt Blake came out and said, look, we don't necessarily believe that the prototypical, innings limit. He can't go over a certain number of innings, coming off the Tommy John surgery. Well, guess what? Any major surgery like that with a pitcher, you don't want him throwing 130, 150, or close to 200 innings because, again, this guy throws hard. He throws in the upper 90s. The faster you throw, the more stress likely that you're putting on the arm, unless you have flawless mechanics, which most people don't. But at the end of the day, I mean, you just don't want to give that guy that heavy of a workload coming off not pitching for over a year. And really not pitching more than, and 4 innings in 2022. I mean, come on. I mean, that's so long ago. In 2022, it was not even 30. I mean, so people have to put all that in perspective. It sucks. Three bad starts in a row, 3 clunkers. But this is coming off a guy who, when he started for us this year, he was, for the most part, almost every single start, absolutely electric. And then his few, shaky outings, it was because of his command. And, Luis Hill, he does have weaknesses. At times he can't find the plate. But when he has his stuff and he can command the zone, he can be electric. And he was for us. And now I just think it's a workload thing where he's kind of tired. He's kind of gassed right now. And, I mean, I'm not going to, go raging pissed. It just sucks. It freaking sucks. And I don't know. Maybe you have to move him to the bullpen or give him a skipped start or something. Give him some rest. I don't know. I don't know what you have to do. Yankee management's going to have to talk with him, figure that out. But at the end of the day, people, over 3 bad starts think, oh, Luis Hill, he's a bust. Come on, stop it. You got to look at the context behind this, all the facts. And at the end of the day, then the Yankees, they then brought Cole Ferguson in this game, and he didn't do well. He gave up a run in an inning. And then the rest of the bullpen, they were fine. I mean, they didn't give up any runs after that. Cousins came in, pitched an inning. Then Canely was great, pitched an inning, gave up 1 hit, but had 2 strikeouts. Weaver was excellent, gave us 2 innings. He's been the perfect swing guy this year, one of the best arms in our bullpen, if not the best arm in our bullpen right now. 2.64 ERA. Canely's been really stepping up clutch lately as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's the same concerns with this team, right? These past few weeks, getting banged up. the injuries, the bullpen, the starting pitching getting lit up a bit, and the offense, the other half of the order just not doing anything. Alex Verdugo is batting cleanup, and he's hitting 240 with a 690 OPS. He's batting cleanup. I mean, we have three guys, or no, sorry, only two guys in this lineup that have over an 800 OPS. I mean, that's bad. That's bad. I mean, let's be real here. I mean, it's just not good. And you can guess who those two guys are. I don't even have to say it. But at the end of the day, I mean, there's a lot of dead weight on this team. There's a ton of dead weight. And why are you not starting Austin Wells today? That's another question I have for Yankee management. I was very vocal about that on the Yankees on Deck Instagram channel. I was very, very vocal about that. That makes absolutely no sense. And I'll tell you why. First of all, Trevino, all the issues he's had this year catching with his throwing arm, he just can't throw anymore. I don't know what's going on. His release point, everything's off there. Not to mention the fact Trevino himself has been in a huge slump these last several weeks. I mean, you look at his stats, last 15 games hitting 186. Over the last month, 30 games hitting 207. And he really has gone back to really being nothing with the bat. I understand he had a great start to the year. Overall, the numbers for him have been, better this year and a lot of the months this year than they were last year and previous years. But he, again, another guy that just has stopped hitting. And Austin Wells, our young catcher, left-handed bat with pop, 24 years old, didn't play. And in his last 15 games, he's hitting 278 with 2 home runs, 8 RBIs, 5 walks, a 372 on-base percentage. Why is this guy not in the lineup? Why are we not going with the hotter hand? And also, too, the Yankees were facing a right-handed pitcher. It was the prime matchup for Austin Wells, facing a right-handed pitcher. This guy on the Reds named Graham Ashcraft, who sucks, by the way. He's got a 5-4 record, 5.45 ERA this year, career 4.95 ERA, and ooh, what a shocker. The Yankees couldn't hit him. Ashcraft against the Yankees, 5 innings pitched, gave up 4 hits, 3 earned runs. They tagged him for in large part thanks to Ben Rice, but the first 4 innings or so, they couldn't touch him. So that's ridiculous. And they really only touched him up a bit because Ben Rice has been one of the few guys in our lineup that's actually been hitting. Got to play him every day. And, Gleyber Torres finally did something, getting an RBI hit, and that was it. I mean, but if you watch the game, the first 4.5 innings, Yankees just looked completely overmatched against this guy. Absolutely ridiculous. And, and by that point, by the time he started hitting, it was too late. So, I don't know. It's just, it's ridiculous. But, yeah, I mean, you go up and down this line. And let me get back to the Austin Wells thing. So, Austin Wells is the prime position, right, for him to start today. Facing the right-hander. He's on a hot streak. He's been swinging the bat much better of late, a lot better than Jose Trevino. So you have all those advantages and the fact that he's left-handed. You have the short porch. I mean, I don't even have to really name all these things. But you have all those advantages. He's young. He's 24 years old. I mean, what's he doing here if he's hardly going to play? At the end of the day, I mean, I want this guy to further develop. He hasn't had a great year. When you look at the overall numbers, he's hitting 213, 3 home runs, 13 RBIs. But he's 24, and if he's going to be a part of this team in the future, I want to see this guy get as much playing time as possible. And I don't see the hurt in that because nobody else in this lineup, in the second half of the lineup, is doing anything. Nobody in the bottom half is doing anything. So why not switch things up and give Wells some more playing time? And Austin Wells, look, I understand he doesn't profile as good of a defender as Jose Trevino. Jose Trevino has the edge in blocking and pitch framing and all that. But Austin Wells, he can throw guys out. He's getting better behind the plate. And look, you need the offense. You need the boost in the lineup. And if this guy's hitting, put him in. I don't understand the logic. I really don't. And tomorrow the Yankees got to face a lefty, so you know they're not going to start Wells in that game, lefty-lefty matchup. So it's just stupid. It's stupid. I really don't get it. I really do not get it. The Yankees, they call up these young kids and they just screw them up. They did the same thing with Oswald Peraza, barely playing him. And then who else? It was Miguel Andujar, when he came back from his injury, they barely played him, screwed him up. I just don't understand it. And then we were talking about this too with Ben Rice. They were platooning Ben Rice. Ben Rice, who is a top 5 hitter on this team right now, because that's how bad half of this lineup has been. And Ben Rice has been a great contributor in his limited action in the big leagues. Again, 25 years old, 37 at-bats. He's hitting 270. He doesn't have a home run yet, but he's hitting the ball hard. A lot of extra base hits from him. A lot of walks. I mean, this kid's, he's driving the ball. Hasn't gotten out yet, but he's contributing. He's taking his walks. He's having great at-bats. He's got to clean up the defense at first base, okay? That's one of his weaknesses. But you watch him. You watch his swing, simple swing. He's playing with a lot of urgency right now because, look, you call up some of these kids, especially the ones that maybe are a little bit older and have been in the minors for a bit and have had to really grind their way through college ball, pro ball, like Ben Rice has. He doesn't take this opportunity for granted. Not one bit. He's soaking it in. He's loving it. But at the end of the day, he's going to work his ass off because he wants to stay here. And you can see it. You can see it in his demeanor. You can see it on his face, what he's doing right now. And that's not me going to say, oh, yeah, it means everybody else is not working hard because they're struggling. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you call up a young kid like this, and they got to earn their keep. They're not making millions of dollars. And this kid, he's 25 years old. He's a little bit of an older prospect, so he's trying to make his keep. And he's trying to tell the Yankees that he could be a future first baseman for this team down the line. And at the end of the day, he's impressing me. And he's probably impressing Yankee management greatly. But at the end of the day, aside from him, Judge, Soto, everybody else, just completely non-existent in this lineup. Outside of 3 guys. Not good at all. And it's got to change. It's got to change. I said this on the last episode. I said Gleyber Torres and DJ LeMahieu, you need them to return as close to their old forms as possible. Because if those guys continue to be nothing with the bat, then the Yankees aren't going very far this year. I honestly believe that. You could even have a big deadline. But if those guys do not bounce back, I really don't think this team has a shot at the World Series this year. I really don't feel that. Because these are guys that were in the heart of our order when the Yankees were really going. Like when they were like, oh shit, this could be the year. You had DJ at the top of the order, and you had Gleyber in the heart of that order too, along with Judge, Stanton, doing his thing. So you need these guys back, and you need Alex Verdugo to get out of this slump. Alex Verdugo, look, I still like Alex Verdugo, but he's rolling over on a ton of ground balls right now to the right side. It's incredibly frustrating. He's really just not hitting. He's not driving balls right now. I don't know what's going on. So you hope he can come out of it because he's like a good prototypical hitter for this lineup, Doesn't strike out a whole lot. He's a contact guy, but he's not driving the ball. So that's another issue. DJ LeMahieu, the same thing, not driving the ball. Practically every at-bat, almost every other at-bat, he's rolling over on pitches, weak ground balls to the left side. And he's old too. DJ LeMahieu, signed that huge contract, $90 million for 5 years. He's up there. I think he's still got like a year or 2 left on that, at least. And he's 35. I don't know what we're going to get from him. Stan's still out probably for another few weeks at least. He did some hitting and running today, they said. Man, we desperately need him back. And we need the Martian, Jason Dominguez, back. He's been out for a long time. I mean, the entire year. For almost the entire year. He's only played in rehab games. And now he's hurt again. So he's going to be out for a while, probably till at least September. So he's probably going to miss the rest of the year. So Yankees got a lot of work to do because this lineup is really, really bad. And you could say all you want about the pitching too, because the pitching's been pretty bad. A lot of our starting pitchers have, after the hot streak, the first few months of the season, being one of the best staffs in baseball, took a bit of a turn. That took a dip. And then the bullpen, as well, it just hasn't been what we have expected from it, you know, in previous years and in earlier months this year, which fine, whatever. I mean, but all this needs to get addressed. I mean, it's not fine, it's not okay, but look, I mean, at least we have a trade deadline coming up. I'm trying to stay as optimistic as we can here. We're 20 games over 500. Orioles are right on our tail. They play, I think they're playing right now. They're on the West Coast. They're in Seattle. Division was tied because the Yankees won on Sunday, and then both teams had off on Monday. So yeah, now we're a half game out. Orioles are playing currently. I'm trying to find out the score on that. If they win tonight, they'll obviously go to a game. They're up 1-0 in the top of the sixth in Seattle. So yeah, I mean, just gotta hope they lose, I guess. So it's just there's a ton of urgency because Baltimore is not going anywhere for a long time. And when this team was playing their best baseball, they were like 2-3 games up on Baltimore. And then when they're playing their worst stretch, Baltimore also hit a bit of a skid. And the division really didn't change much. It changed by like a game or two at the most. But now Baltimore is back on track. And they're legit. Haven't won a series against them this year. So we need to really pick up the slack. I don't know. I just feel like this team gets too complacent. This team gets way too complacent with their record, with their status in terms of this is the New York Yankees. Aaron Boone constantly going up to the podium and just spewing all this overly positive crap, which, well, fine. I understand you got to hype up your team, okay? But at the end of the day, maybe hold some guys accountable, guys not hustling out of the box, guys, not making the routine fundamental plays or, doing what they're expected to do. Call that shit out. I'm so sick of this, peaches and roses, all the time, even when the team is doing things that are not acceptable that they shouldn't be doing. But nowadays it's all, you can't ever call out a player in front of the media. You always got to, kiss their ass 24/7. And, I just think part of this team, no offense, but part of this team's a little soft. I mean, let's be real. I mean, if you've been watching this team the last few weeks, look, I understand guys care and guys let their emotions get away and stuff like that. But Carlos Rodon, after a bad start in Toronto, he's crying in the dugout. You can visibly see tears, coming down his face. Come on, dude. And then Gleyber Torres pouting in the dugout when he gets benched in the Subway Series. Or no, not the Subway Series, in Toronto. He's pouting. Come on. This is such child shit right here. You're a professional baseball player. And you're crying, you're pouting, you're making excuses. Oh, I feel sore, I'm hurt. Come on. This is such immature shit right now. You're getting paid millions of dollars and you're spewing this crap right now. Come on, stop it. I'm not throwing a pity party here. I'm gonna feel bad for the guy that I can visibly see is working his ass off. And look, yeah, he's struggling. I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be frustrated, like I was with Judge. When Judge got off to the year he had gotten off to, batting under 200, I was visibly frustrated. I would watch his at bats. I'd just be like, oh, here we go again. You could see he was off. He knew he was off. Everybody knew he wasn't right. But you could see his demeanor, his work ethic, who he is. He never let that struggle overcome him. You see other guys on this team, Gleyber Torres, Carlos Rodon, they struggle. It gets in their head, and they start to do a lot of dumb shit. Carlos Rodon, when he was getting freaking just crushed by the Blue Jays, he gave up over 5 runs in that last start. He was cursing out he was under his breath, mumbling under his breath, cursing out the pitching coach. What are you doing, dude? I don't know if he was cursing out the pitching coach, but he was mumbling stuff under his breath, when in frustration, pissed off when the pitching coach was taking him out, and it's I understand you're frustrated, but at the end of the day, like, to be mouthing off, like, oh, why are you taking me out here when you've given up a ton of runs? Like, come on, dude. Like, you just like, just the professionalism, honestly. And that's why Judge is the captain. Judge, he gets pissed off, but under his sleeve, he's always the same guy. He's always the same, whether he's batting over 300 or he's hitting under 200, he's always the same guy. He's always going to conduct himself the same way. And look, and Stroman, it's different, right? Because Stroman's reaction was more to like fire the team up. Like, let's effing go. Like almost like wake up. Like that guy in the Cubs, Justin Steele, he was like, wake the F up, wake the F up. Like that is needed in a team. Because you get these guys that, and it happens to everybody. Look, sometimes we get complacent in something, not like, oh, what's the big deal? No, it is a big deal because at the end of the day, people pay a lot of money to come to these games. And it's your job as the baseball player to go out there and give it your best effort. And when you're not giving it your best effort, you deserve to be called out on it. So I commend Stroman for doing that, even though, sure, it did cross a line because you're not like, that's baseball ethics 101. Like, you don't blast your teammates like, live on the field and all that. But this team, like I said, it needs an ass kicking because some of these guys, they get so freaking soft. And, and I'm naming multiple guys. I'm not just calling out one guy. I'm calling out Gleyber Torres. I'm calling out Carlos Rodon, DJ LeMahieu. DJ LeMahieu fumbled on a ball in the Subway Series that he didn't even hustle for. I'm calling that shit out. That's unacceptable. Juan Soto at times too. I always felt could be a little bit quicker to a ball in the outfield than he was. I don't like that either. So I'm calling this out because at the end of the day, there's got to be accountability for effort, and there's got to be accountability for how you conduct yourself. And right now, what this team is doing, I mean, obviously they're playing like shit, but at the end of the day, it's also a mindset. It's a mindset, and this team they have to pull out of it because if they don't pull out of this, they're not going to go very far. Yes, they're going to make the playoffs. Wild card. Everybody's talking about. No, we want World Series aspirations. We have Juan Soto for one freaking year, guaranteed. That and I said this too on my Instagram. I said, look, we are at the point really the status with this team. Because look, we talked about it at the beginning of the year, like we were dreaming. The team was red hot, and look, we do this as fans. We overhype the team, and then we overreact when the team's not doing good. All I'm gonna say is yes, we were at that point when the entire lineup was clicking and the pitching, all that was clicking at once. We were like, oh yeah, this is a World Series caliber team. Now that all that has completely shifted, what I'm going to say is that it makes it very clear right now what the needs are for this team, which are quite extensive. And if that the Yankees do not at least address most of those needs at the trade deadline, then I am telling you right now, this team is not going to go very far. They will likely be a first-round exit. Now, they have a cushion playoff-wise because of their record, but at the end of the day, they will not go very far, and they certainly will not go to a World Series if they don't have a massive deadline, not just the best deadline out of all 30 teams. I'm talking about a historic deadline because the team is incredibly banged up right now and struggling pretty much on all sides of the ball. So they need to go out and address these wounds. They can't just lick these wounds and hope that all of it's going to get better and go away. Yes, you need to bank on certain things like Torres and LeMahieu coming out of their slumps. But you need to go out and improve the team as much as you can because this is it. It's 1 year. And then guess what? House number already said after this year, he's cutting payroll. He's not going to have over a $300 million payroll. He's already said that repeatedly. And the only reason I think he agreed to it was because Yankee fans were so pissed after the debacle that happened last year that they needed to go out and get a big shiny star, because if they didn't, the fans would have, a lot of fans out there probably would have revolted and said, what, screw this. I'm not buying season tickets this year. I'm not going to games. I mean, there was a ton of people that canceled at the end of last year.
A lot. They took a massive hit. And look, and as long as the Yankees are a playoff team, then they're satisfied. Which is why I also honestly feel kind of confident that we bring Soto back, because it's like an Aaron Judge situation. Like I've said, you take Juan Soto off this team, they're not a playoff team. Same thing with Aaron Judge. So like that actually gives me a lot of hope that Howe will open up the wallet and bring back Juan Soto. But at the end of the day, it's more than that. Obviously, there's a lot of needs on the pitching front and the offense. I mean, I would love another bat too. I like JD Martinez on the Mets, the DH, but I know we have a lot of old, slow guys on this team, and look, Stan and all that. But look, my rationale, honestly, is Stan's going to get hurt anyway. I mean, that guy, bro, our own GM said it himself. Giancarlo Stan's going to get hurt anyway. So why not go out and at least make an effort? I mean, look, I don't know if the Mets are going to sell after, the run they're having right now. I mean, they're what, like a game and a half out of a wild card? So I don't know if they're going to go in full sell mode now or not. I mean, we'll have to see. But I'm going to check the standings because they actually just won today too, 7-2. I mean, the Mets are on a roll. Yankees. And it's funny too. Whenever it's always revert. Like the Yankees and Mets are never really both great at the same time. It's either the Yankees are crushing it and the Mets stink, or the Mets are crushing it and the Yankees stink. And right now it's totally flipped. Where the first 2-3 months of the year it was complete polar opposite. So I don't know, just weird. Mets are half a game out. Oh, no, sorry. 1 game out. I was looking at the wrong number. They're 1 game out. So, very interesting across town. But anyways, it's, and you shouldn't be losing teams like this to the Reds. The Reds are a 4th-place team. They stink. Look at their record. I mean, they're not a good team. They're 40-45. I mean, come on, man. You're losing, talk all you want about the comeback, the 4 runs. Reds don't have good pitching. They don't have good pitching, and stupid decisions by our manager, not starting Wells today, being one of them. And now that guy's not going to start tomorrow because you have the lefty on the mound. What's his name? Go to the probable pitchers. I forget his name. I saw it earlier. It's Andrew Abbott. 7-6, 3.41 ERA. Not terrible, but I mean, yeah. I mean, and Carlos Rodon gets the ball tomorrow. So, but yeah, another day where Austin Wells won't start when he should. And, Ben Rice, too, all that platooning shit. Hopefully they stop that now because they see how much he's contributing right now. I mean, let the guy play. The guy's red hot right now, and he's having great at-bats. He's 25 years old. He's hungry, and we're platooning him. Stop. And then the Yankees see their old friend, ex-Yankee Frankie Montas on 4th of July this Thursday. That'll be interesting. So, yeah, I mean, it was a joke of a game. I had to shut it off when it was 5-0 because it was just such a joke. And then I was following on my phone, more casually as the game was going on. But I just can't watch sometimes when shit hits the fan like this because it's just tough to watch, especially the decision making by Aaron Boone. Can't stand it. It's just, and yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's another bad loss. You need to win the next 2. You honestly, good teams, you should honestly sweep. Just saying. I mean, you take care of business in this easy part of the schedule. Toronto's not a good team. The Reds aren't a good team. And I don't know. Really don't know. But I want to briefly talk about Aaron Judge because Aaron Judge is, there's really not a whole lot of positives with this team. And it's annoying constantly the entire show in the last few weeks, constantly talking about negative this, negative that. It's annoying. So at least one of our bright spots, is Aaron Judge, and he's having an historic season. I mean, this is a guy that could win the Triple Crown. He has 32 home runs before the All Star break. And they were saying in 2022, when he hit 62, he had 30 on this date. He had 30 home runs. So, look, guys, I think he's going to break his own record. I really do. When Judge gets locked in like this, he is locked in. It's like literally feels like you're watching every game. And I know it's not every game, but every game he's hitting a home run or every other game. I mean, it's just insane to watch. And he's gotten even better. I mean, look, right now, the season he is having is statistically right now better than 2022. Look, I know he hasn't reached 62 yet or anything, but I'm saying right now at this pace, at this exact point in time, compared to 2022, he's having a better year. He's on track to have a better year. So I don't know what it is now because obviously it always changes, but earlier in the week they said he was on pace for it was like 58 or 59 home runs. I don't know, maybe that's up to 60 because he is I mean, what he is doing is just absolutely unreal. He leads the AL in batting average. He's actually got a higher batting average than Luis Ariz, the guy who, you know, nearly hit 400 last year and won a batting title. And is a guy known for hitting for an insane contact, the best contact hitter in baseball. He's like Tony Gwynn up there. So Judge hasn't beat there. And then Judge obviously leading in home runs, RBIs. I mean, it's just absolutely insane what he is doing. I mean, we are watching a guy too. And there was also this stat too. They said in a 50 game stretch, when you look at the numbers, Aaron Judge has the best stats for a 50 game stretch in history. That beats Mays, Cobb, Ruth. I mean, what we are watching is absolutely incredible. I mean, the best comparison is we're watching Mantle. We're watching today's version of Mickey Mantle, or even a better or even better comparison would be Barry Bonds. Look, I know Barry Bonds, had more home runs obviously in the regular season, but and total obviously, but look, he cheated. So I honestly I don't even really count that. I know Bonds was an amazing hitter and great eye at the plate and walked a ton because so many people feared him and whatnot. But at the end of the day, the guy cheated. Everybody knows it. His head grew 10 sizes when, you know, he was with the Giants and started juicing. So, you know, I honestly respect it more from Judge's part because Judge is doing all this shit and he's clean. Like it's just he's just a freak. I mean, he's got great genetics. He's 6'7", 280 pounds. The guy could be in the NBA or the NFL with his kind of body. But at the end of the day, it's the fact that he's able to be the best power hitter in the game and then also hit for a high average and hit for more contact than your prototypical power hitters of today's generation and even a little bit previous generations would do. I mean, that's just not standard. I mean, usually you have a huge power threat like this. Even guys 5, 10 plus years ago who would hit around 40 home runs a year, they usually, they weren't guys hitting near 300. I mean, maybe they were hitting like 260, 270s, but they weren't approaching 300 or over 300. I mean, it's just massively insane what he's doing when you break down all these numbers. And the fact that where he's hitting in the lineup too. He's getting better pitches to hit, I think, because pitchers got to worry about Soto. And it's also just too kind of funny because I don't know why that is really also on that front because he's hitting in front of Alex Verdugo, who hasn't done anything. One of the guys in the bottom half of our order that is just struggling massively. So I don't understand every time. Look, like if you have like Volpe's in a slump, right? You get Volpe out, you have one out. I don't know why teams just don't take the chance of walking Soto and Judge back to back, and you put first and second, and then you get Verdugo, Torres, LeMay. You get these guys up at the plate, and then you take your chances there. I don't understand why the Yankees don't do that more often. Or not the Yankees, sorry, opposing teams. I don't understand why opposing teams don't do that more often. You have seen opposing teams intentionally walk Soto, like, or Judge, or at least pitch around them, but you don't see it as much as you think you would. So it's kind of weird, honestly. But yeah, I mean, Judge, what he's doing is just, and I'm going to pull up the numbers here again. 321 batting average. That's up today. I think it was like 316 a day or two ago. 83 RBIs, 32 home runs, and 305 at bats. 440 on base percentage. That's excellent. Over 1,000 OPS. 1.158. I mean, this guy is just nuts. Enjoy it, people. Enjoy it, because we honestly might not see this ever again. And you know what's the crazy thing? Coming into this year, I saw this too on Twitter. He wasn't ranked as the best outfielder for his position. I'm pretty sure they had who was it up there? I gotta try and find this tweet, because I see certain things and then I lose them. Or no, it wasn't outfielder. Sorry. It was position. It was best players in baseball. He was ranked like, I think, like fourth or fifth. Ronald Acuna was like one or two. Or no, I think Shohei was one, Acuna was two, Judge was like fourth or fifth. I'm like, what the frick? Like, and you think about that, it's just nuts. It's absolutely nuts. We used to say too, Mike Trout, best player in baseball. We said that for what, 6, 7, 8 years at least. But now the tides have changed. Mike Trout, unfortunately, just getting older and is now in his now in his 30s, and he's honestly really not even that old. But he just, the last several years, Mike Trout has just dealt with a ton of injuries. He's 32. He's practically Judge's age, but at the end of the day, he just can't stay healthy, and it really sucks for him. But for a number of years, we were saying he was the best, and now that title goes to Judge. Judge, again, the last few years has been the best player in baseball, without a doubt. He is the unanimous AL MVP. Nobody can argue that, and it's just insane what he's doing. What the Yankees would be. Imagine how bad this team would be without Aaron Judge. It's crazy to think about. I mean, just look at how bad they were when he went down. So, yeah, and you got Soto, and it's a two-man wrecking crew right over there. So, hopefully they can figure this shit out, man, because I'm sick of losing. I'm sick of these same trends where we don't have enough pitching, and the offense is not up to par. This team has a $300 freaking million payroll. Figure it out. I'm sick of this. There are teams that have so much lower payrolls that are able to figure this shit out, but then we have a $300 million payroll and we can still not figure this crap out. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the owner, the GM. I don't know who to put the most blame on. The manager. I'm just gonna put the blame on all of them, because at the end of the day, it's a shit show at times with this team, and we want to get back to a World Series. It's been 15 years in the making, so they got to figure this out. They need to get pissed off, and they need to be like, nope, stop being complacent. Let's effing go. We got to figure this out. Tired of this. Rebound tomorrow. Get these next two games, because this is an absolute disgrace right now. Absolute embarrassment. When it was 5-0, and even the rest of the game, I was like, you know what? This is a joke. People paying these prices, and this is how they come out and perform tonight. Absolute disgrace. And all you Yankee fans that are out there and that are frustrated, I feel you. I'm right there with you. Okay, I'm gonna say too. I know you don't want to hear this shit, but a lot of you don't want to hear it. It is a long season. We gotta just try and remember that. But yeah, it's not great right now. It's not great. They got to figure it out, and they need a massive deadline. And I'll tell you right now what they need at the deadline. I'll lay it right out. I'm by the way too. As we get close to the deadline, I'm gonna make like episodes on who I think we should go after and target and this and that because it's still kind of still all a little bit early. I know we're getting into that phase where we start looking at people, but there's still some teams out there that are trying to make a decision on whether they're going to sell or not. So, but I'll tell you right now what we need. We need at least 2 bullpen arms. I would love 3, but that's a lot. 2 bullpen arms, 2 guys in the back of that bullpen, another starting pitcher, because look, now Luis Hill, I don't know if he can continue as a starter now. And you got Clark Schmidt out for at least another several weeks. Garrett Cole, I think, still probably has to ramp up. You can't put a full load on him yet. Need another starter. 2 would be amazing, honestly. You can never have enough starting pitching, but 2 starters and 2 bullpen relievers, 4 guys right there. That I doubt they're going to get that much. So I'll settle with 1. 2 bullpen arms, 1 starting pitcher that you could throw in the middle of that rotation. Okay? Now, on the offensive side, I would like to address first base because, look, I like Ben Rice. I really do. But if there is a first baseman out there that could be a viable option that we can get, I would like him because at the end of the day, I love Ben Rice. And look, I want to continue giving this kid Ben Rice a shot at first base. I'm not saying, oh, let's go get a first baseman and put Ben Rice on the bench. It's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is Ben Rice still has some work to do on the defensive side of things at first base. So I would like to go out and get a guy that can hit a little bit, possibly at first base, and play some good defense at first base to kind of offset if Rice does struggle a bit defensively over there at first base, or just period. I mean, we could kind of sort that out and not have an issue there. It's not the most pressing issue, but it's a little bit of an issue. But I like this Ben Rice kid. If we can't find a first baseman that could, play some solid defense in case shit hits the fan with Rice, whatever. I'm just tired of the Yankees platooning him with JD Davis because JD Davis sucks. And at the end of the day, why would you do that? At the end of the day, just give Rice a shot. The kid's playing every day. He's doing great right now. Give him a shot. But I am nervous about first base just because of the defensive aspect, and Rice is still trying to fix that up. Maybe he'll fix it up. But I just, for security, I would like for them to trade for a first baseman that can play defense. Because JD Davis, I mean, he's better at first base than third base, but he's no amazing defender. So that's another one. Then I would just like infield depth. I mean, we have no infield depth. Jahmai Jones is our backup infielder. Trent Grisham is our backup outfielder. Come on. Yankees called up Oswald Peraza for 2 seconds, and they sent him back down. So at the end of the day, got to figure this out. John Birdie, who would have been our backup infielder, he's still out from injury. So got to go out and get some infield depth. I like that guy on the Angels, Luis Rengifo, left-handed hitter, can play. I think pretty sure can play multiple positions in the infield, second base, third base. Really like him. He's a target. And then former Yankee IKF. He's been killing it this year. He's an all-star. I think he has to be a potential trade target too. And IKF, look, he was great for us in that department, playing all over the infield. Yankees, honestly, IKF kind of got screwed because, look, he wasn't like some amazing player for us, but he was very serviceable and very, very useful in his utility role. But the Yankees screwed him up because they put him at shortstop, put him at a position he couldn't play in the first place. So at the end of the day, you can go out, you can get IKF, you can put him at sorry. You can go out, you can get IKF, you can put him at second, you can put him at third. I think that would be very valuable. And then I got to do some more research, figure out who else in the infield department they could go out and get as depth because they need it. And they need another bat too, like another power bat in their lineup. Their lineup is so freaking weak right now. outside of the top three. And I look, I know Volpe's in a slump right now, but I'm talking with our top three hitters in Soto, Judge, and then, obviously you got to put Rice in that conversation too. So, you got to figure that out too. I like JD Martinez on the Mets, but I don't think the Mets are going to sell just yet. I thought they were several weeks ago when they were a lot worse than they are now. Now they're really picking it up, and we'll have to see what they do. But I really like him, and people would say, "Oh, you got Stan, you got enough DHs." Look, I get that, but Stan's going to get hurt anyway. It's a 1-year deal for JD Martinez. It's a 2-month rental. Like, honestly, you're making a push. I would like JD Martinez on this team, the DH. Stan, he's going to get hurt anyway. Our own GM said it. So that's another one. That's your big bat. I would be on the lookout for. People also rumor too Vladimir Guerrero, because the Blue Jays are most likely definitely going to be in sell mode. They're one of their own star players. Bo Bichette said it, so it's definitely going to happen. But Vladdy, look, that guy is such an ass. He talks so much shit about the Yankees. I really don't want him. I understand he's having a good year, but that guy, he's just arrogant, entitled, just a pain in the ass. He's a freaking idiot. So, and and look, he can't run, he can't field. So you're getting him, and you're getting the power bat, and that's it. And how much are you going to give up for that? And when's he a free agent too? Is he a free agent at the end of the year? He's a free agent at the end of the year. Forget it. Oh, he's got 1 more year. Free agent after the 2025 season. Nah, man, I really don't want him. I really don't. I can't stand that guy. I don't know. I guess if he could help us get a World Series, fine. Because, look, I didn't like Verdugo either, and then he came over and fans fell in love with him. I guess maybe the same thing could happen here with Guerrero. But Guerrero, look, Verdugo never talked shit about the Yankees, even when he was on the Red Sox. Guerrero goes out of his way to, like, act all cocky in front of the Yankees and talk shit about them 24/7, even though most of the time we're kicking their ass. So I can't stand that guy, honestly. And he said too, he's like, "Oh, I would never want to play for the Yankees." And then when they ask him recently, when the Blue Jays are out on the West Coast, he says, "Oh, I'll go to any team that wants my services." Blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, now you switch up your tune when you're sitting in last place. The Blue Jays are shit. Yeah, funny how that works, Vladdy. Freaking idiot. Yeah, maybe you shouldn't have gone on an interview and said, "Oh, I would never play for the Yankees." Yeah, that really screws you up now. Have fun sitting in last place, dumbass. I'm really sick. I'm really just like, some of these players just with the egos. It's exhausting. And his dad, Vladimir Guerrero Sr., who's a Hall of Famer, I don't think he ever acted that stupid on a baseball field. And credit to that guy. That guy was amazing. Super long career. But come on, are we kidding ourselves? His son ain't that. Come on. Guerrero Jr. has had a lot of up and down years, and he talks a lot of game, talks a lot of shit for a guy who's been super up and down in his career. So I don't want that ego, that attitude. I really don't want that, man. That's a self-centered first guy that does shit like that. I really don't know if I want that. I really don't know. First base is an issue, but I don't think it's that much of a pressing issue. Oh yeah, let's go trade for that guy and give up a ton for him. The Blue Jays are going to oversell him like crazy. They're going to want a huge package, obviously, because it's Guerrero and he's having a good year. So, and I don't know if I'd be willing to do that. I'd rather give up a ton to get pitching help and more depth in the infield. I'm not naming first base. We could get depth at second, third. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Rebound tomorrow and fix this shit because I'm tired of losing and I'm tired of being pissed off with this team disappointing lately. Got to fix it. Clean it up. See you tomorrow.